Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome to the June 9th, 2015 meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. Before we move on to our agenda, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the resignation of the man to my left here, Mr. Heinz Sauer. Heinz started working with and for the village in, I guess it was 2012, mapping out our water system, and he was appointed in 2012 to fill a vacant seat. He was elected in 2013 and again this year in 2015. Heinz has committed many hours and unmatched commitment of time and effort, particularly to the water department and to the village. I'd like to thank him greatly for his service, much of it being behind the scenes, but he's been a great asset to us and the village. Been a great advisor and a friend, and I wish him the best. So I think June 30th is the official day, so this will be his last, most likely his last official meeting with us. So, want to say anything, Heinz? Or
well, I had wanted to announce that, but I guess you did already. I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of all the accomplishments of the water department during my almost 3 years of stewardship of that area. And during this time, we made a lot of important improvements to the water infrastructure. Among them, in the water plant, we increased security by putting fence and the security monitoring system in there. We fixed major leaks. We rebuilt the back entrance of the water plant, which was the water gushing in, and also on the south side, we had a lot of water intruding into the basement of the water plant. We subsequently removed heavy corrosion and painted the downstairs, all of the water pipes which hadn't been painted in about 45 or 48 years. Recently, we just, as a matter of fact, I was going to report it today, we replaced 3 of the broken control valves, which is really one of the major things that we did to the plant, because that reduced a lot of the pressure surges and reduced and will reduce a lot of the line breaks that we had experienced both in the village and in Rhinecliff. In the distribution system, we replaced about 24 fire hydrants. We still got 18 to go, and these are hydrants that are vintage 1895. We replaced 17 of the main trunk line valves, which were either inoperable or were leaking. One of the major things we did for the distribution systems in the last year and a half or so was to map out and characterizing, using flow and pressure testing, the total village and the town distribution system. This effort culminated in an independent engineering report that identified the major shortcomings in the Rhinebeck water distribution system. The work that still on that front needs to be done, and I think needs to be addressed by the board in the next few months, is to improve the reliability of the fire flow and the reliability of the system and the fire flow, and to focus on rebuilding the villages and part of the town's distribution system as outlined in the preliminary engineering report that was done by Standard Corporation. Some of the near-term work that needs to be addressed is, first of all, develop a water district which includes the village part of the town and the hamlet of Rhinecliff, and I believe our attorney has started work on that. And secondly, we need to make sure that we get buy-in by the users here by doing continued education and communicating with them. Lastly, one of the things that needs to be done by the board is to secure funding, and we probably should go to the capital markets to do that rather than go to the EFCs and so on. So with that, that's would be my suggestion, and of course the board can proceed as they want. But I think that work, putting a district together and ensure funding and so on is really something that needs to be done pretty quickly. Okay, so that is all I have to say outside of my regular water report, which I do when we get to the point.
Thank you, Heinz. You provided a nice summary, but the basics of it, he completed, many years of projects in a relatively short period of time, and set us on the path to the biggest project today, which will be the infrastructure upgrade here in the village. So thanks again.
I'd like to thank Heinz for the work that he did. And he did this work before he became a trustee. He worked with not only the water department and wastewater, but he also mapped out the stormwater system, which we had no idea where the stormwater was going. So he did a lot of work on his own, and so now whenever I go by a storm drain, Heinz, I know exactly where that water ends up because of you. Thank you.
You're welcome. We also
I know it was hard work doing that.
We just recently bought a GIS system in the water plant, which is not just locates the location of the valves and the hydrants and all of that on maps, but you can also do your storm drains. You can map them also and put them on a system with them. That was just bought this month. We bought that. It's a $7,000 bill that you see probably signed for.
Any retired engineers out there? We could use one.
Thank you all.
And I'd just like to say, I've been in the construction business for many, many years, and I've had the pleasure of working alongside Heinz for this past year. And the service that he's provided to this village, through the water department and the work that he's done, there's no way that we could have afforded to pay for that work. That work was very, very expensive work, and Heinz did it as a volunteer. He did it, as an expert. And I know that going forward, we're the benefactors of that, and I know that we are even saving money on our new water project just because of all the legwork that he's done. The engineers have said to me, it's amazing the amount of stuff that he's recorded, and it's really given us a head start on getting this project going. So it's been a real value.
Thank you, Scott. You're here.
Joel, County Legislator Joel Tyner, next on the agenda.
How's everybody doing tonight? So, Heinz, sorry to see you go. Everybody knows you've done great work on this board, so kudos to you, sir. I have a few handouts this evening. The first, I think that may be the first petition I've ever given you guys. In my 20 years as a community activist, 12 years with the county legislature, I don't think I've ever come across any issue so crucial as taxes, and in particular property taxes. And so I'm passing that out because it is a county issue. In order for Dutchess County, right here in Dutchess County, in order for school property taxes to be eliminated in Dutchess County and have our schools funded through income taxes instead, Dutchess County government needs to get more involved, and we are not an island. We can't do it alone. A couple months ago, I'm still sort of pinching myself. I got a Republican in the county legislature, Joan Coronado, to sign this letter together with a couple Democrats, Mickey Struinsky and Francine Amparo, basically asking for Dutchess County to do what even former village board member Terry Gibson has proposed, along with Kevin Cahill, even the current county executive, Mark Molinaro, when he was in the state legislature, and that is eliminate school property taxes across the state, fund our schools through income taxes. Now you could say, well, that was state legislation. Exactly. And because I've been following politics for decades like you guys have, the reason why I'm pushing so hard for county level action is because, frankly, I'm 51 years old, and I think I might be 95 before Albany gets its act together, before the Republicans and Democrats were so there's a lot of very powerful people in the power structure who are very, on both sides of the aisle, that are very addicted to large campaign contributions. And if the school funding is going to switch to income taxes and eliminate school property taxes, that means that some very wealthy people are going to be upset. And so I'm asking for people of both sides here in Dutchess County to make this happen. Because, like I said, it's not anything particularly radical. To have it happen on a county level is actually, to me, much less radical than on state level. And there's a Republican in the state Senate, John Bonisic, who 10 years ago was advocating, let counties do this. Let counties, give the voters the option to do this. I'm not going to stand here and lie to you, say, well, State Senator Bonisic has this legislation. No, he's given up on it. He's given up on it. So why am I standing here talking about it? Because if you talk to people in Rhinebeck and Clinton, like I know you folks do, and anybody in Dutchess County, you know that property taxes, school property taxes, are killing people. And so I'm just trying to get the ball rolling. I'm also passing this out because just in the last couple months, the Suffolk County Legislature and the Westchester County Legislature just voted unanimously, all the Republicans and Democrats, to ban toxic toys. Toys containing, antimony, arsenic, benzene, cadmium, cobalt, lead, and mercury. You may recall back in December, I got 9 of us in the county legislature to sign a letter, I think 1 Republican and 8 Democrats, for Dutchess County to do the same thing. I think it was 5 or 6 Republicans and a whole bunch of Democrats in the Albany County legislature that voted on this in December. Last night I circulated a letter. Far fewer legislators signed on last night than signed on to December. It's kind of an ugly reality, kind of an ugly truth, right? Not even all the folks in my own caucus who signed the letter in December signed on last night, even though in the last 6 weeks, Suffolk County and Westchester County have unanimously banned toxic toys. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, kids should not be exposed to toxic heavy metals in their Hot Wheels. And that's what they found in Long Island, Westchester, Suffolk, Albany. Anyway, so I'm just putting that out there just so you folks know. Another letter that I circulated last night, a little bit of kind of not great news. I'm glad that I got 1 Republican on board, Marge Horton, but 6 years ago, when it comes to Lyme disease and health insurance, this is the front page of today's Poughkeepsie Journal, 6 years ago, I got a resolution passed 22-3. This is for Joel Miller's legislation. If you have chronic Lyme disease, you should be able to get more than 3 or 4 weeks of antibiotics if you need it. Your health insurance should cover that. That's what's been going on in Rhode Island, Connecticut for a long time. Last night, I was only able to get several legislators to sign on to this. Even though 6 years ago, it was 22-3, with 8 out of 11 Republicans signing on then, and the whole Democratic caucus. So it's just, I'm just pointing this out because, I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's just really disturbing and alarming to me that, frankly, honestly, even some folks in my own party don't seem to take it, and both parties don't seem to take it really seriously, that Lyme disease and health insurance is a big issue. And there's been so much media coverage on it, but not on the fact that Rhode Island and Connecticut, you get health insurance for Lyme, and in this state and this county, you're out of luck. The other 3 letters that I'm passing around are, last night there was a photo op. The Green Team Community Gardening Program was honored. Even some of the legislators that were part of the photo op would not sign the letter to bring back the money, because there used to be a Green Team Community Gardening Program in Poughkeepsie, incredible program for at-risk youth. It's been in Beacon for a while. Every year for the last 5 years, I advocate for that program to come back in the county budget at a price of, $40,000, $50,000. And so I'm just a little frustrated on that. It's been proven over and over again that the workers at these fast food places and the chain stores that are making poverty wages, we pay for their benefits when they end up at DSS, the Department of Community and Family Services. I circulated another letter last night saying to Governor Cuomo's wage board, please at least make the fast food workers at these large chains like McDonald's and Taco Bell and Wendy's, the ones that can afford to pay a living wage, they should be paying the workers a living wage, because when they don't, frankly, we pay for it. We pay for the Medicaid, the food stamps, and the benefits those workers need. So I just wanted to keep you up to date on that. There's been a lot of stuff in the papers. People are asking me, Joel, what's going on with Slate Quarry Road? Well, I've lived in the town of Clinton, went to high school in Rhinebeck. I lived in this area for 4 decades. All of a sudden, everybody wants me to do something about Slate Quarry Road. That's fine. I'm doing a forum, just so you know, and that's going to be Thursday, June 25th at 5:30 at Rhinebeck Town Hall. So it's all these buzz, letters to the editor in the papers. That's going to be Thursday, June 25th at, just to take input and gather information. Thursday, June 25th, 5:30 at Rhinebeck Town Hall. Last but not least, the front page of the Poughkeepsie Journal last Tuesday pointed out there's been a 22% cut in violent crime over the last 5 years. And if you look at what Brooklyn and the Bronx have done as far as expediting processing of cases, if you look at what we could do for women, for the mentally ill, for state parole violators and bail, we don't need a new $125 million jail. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but I'm at 876-2488. I'm at 464-2245. There is a growing number of colleagues of mine in the county legislature that agree with me, and I've done the research for the last 10 years on all the cutting-edge, state-of-the-art ways to address jail overcrowding that do not involve a new $150 million jail. So thank you, and Heinz, again, congratulations.
Joel, I have a question. So on the school taxes,
Yes, sir.
so the numbers associated with that, how does it affect, say, someone of medium income or someone who owns a, median valued home?
I'm guessing and betting there's a guy named Frank Morrow who just retired from the Fiscal Policy Institute, which is kind of like the big sort of liberal, labor-backed, union-backed think tank in Albany. And he and I worked kind of closely together for a long time. They helped me crunch the numbers because for a long time I've been saying have a county level income tax surcharge to slash county property taxes. Now I'm going for the jugular, the school property taxes. I'm willing to bet, the devil's in the details, but I'm willing to bet that, I'm guessing just off the top of my head that if you're in the bottom 80% of income earners in Dutchess County, I'm guessing and betting you're probably going to be paying less in taxes. If you eliminate school property taxes and you fund schools through a more progressive income tax, now what might that look like? Well, I'm just getting the ball rolling because you're aware, of course, that this would take a home rule request. That Kevin Cahill and Sue Serino, the state Senate and the state Assembly, they would have to, but let's be honest. There's a lot of politicians who've said for a long time that they're going to do this. I'm 51. I've been active in politics for 20 years. Is Albany ever going to do this statewide? I think the answer is to prove to Albany there's a whole confluence of Republicans and Democrats right here in Dutchess County, and then light a fire under the tuchuses of Cahill, Barrett, Serino, all the Republicans and Democrats in the state legislature. So, Mayor Tortorella, the devil is in the details, but I would humbly submit to you that, look, I was best friends with Dave Heller, all right? Dave Heller just came back from Berkeley, and his dad, I'm like, well, if there's one thing that you could do as a county legislator, he's like, well, he's talking about how Joe Heller down in Georgia, they don't pay hardly any property taxes. The seniors don't. Now we have a senior star program, but people are still being killed by property taxes, and that's what pulled me over the edge. When John Heller over on Astor Drive, and so. The devil's in the details, but the first thing of it, I think, is to, or at least eliminate 90% of property taxes. Even progressive liberal people say, well, keep a little bit of a property tax so the schools have a stable sort of source of income. But frankly, I'm willing to completely, I think it's more politically palatable, easier to build interest. Just say eliminate school property taxes, fund the schools through income taxes. What would that income tax look like? Probably wealthier people are going to pay more. In the early 70s under Rockefeller, millionaires paid a 15.5% personal income tax rate. Now they pay less than 9%. And that's why sales and property taxes have skyrocketed. Anyway.
So next we have our treasurer, Karen McLaughlin. So just a note here, Karen has accepted an offer to transition from our part-time treasurer to a full-time position, which will be starting on or about July 1st.
July 1st.
So on or about July 1st, so you'll see even more of her downstairs in the office. So
Thank you.
Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you do engineering? Just curious, okay.
Stormwater.
Is that started or is going to start?
July 1st.
July 1st.
But, okay, before I get started on my treasurer's report, I too would like to wish you well, Heinz. And in my short time here, I enjoyed working with you, and I felt like we got a handle on the capital projects and the water fund. So I would certainly like to maybe just have a meeting with you before you leave and kind of go over everything and kind of carry that on, because I think you've done an excellent job at tracking the funds. So I want to applaud you for that. Okay, my treasurer's report is for the period of May 1st to May 31st. The general fund ended the month with $239,301.56. The tax collector's account ended the month with $103,416.93. The water fund ended the month with $580,563. The sewer fund ended the month with $647,039. The vouchers, we have 2 sets of vouchers for the board's approval this evening, and there are some more May-June vouchers that will be charged back to last year in the general fund for $11,504.15, in the water fund for $402.52, in the sewer fund for $2,651.21. The June bills to date are general fund, $20,168.45. The water fund, $10,587.56, and the sewer fund, $6,749.34. The capital reserve accounts, after this month, there will be 3 capital reserve bank accounts, and they will be separated by the operating fund. So there will be a capital reserve for the general fund, one for the water fund, and then a separate one for the sewer fund. The accountant and the end of the year process has started. I've started working with the accountant to tie out the 2014-15 fiscal year and prepare the New York State annual report. And I will keep the board informed of my progress. I'm at the very beginning stages of that right now. And also, your budget status reports will be available to you in your box downstairs. All right, any questions? No? Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Heinz, water?
Okay. Water treatment plant. The water treatment plant treated 14,544,000 gallons. That is net treated water. The work on the control valves was completed, and we probably are going to pay the remaining balance of about $11,000 in this coming month. The lagoon dredging, which I haven't gotten here, we're going to have a bid opening here on Thursday morning at 11 o'clock to see what the outcome of the bid requests are. Last year we had an audit by the New York State Department of Labor, and they gave us a violation because we did not have a proper sign in one of our tanks, and we had post haste put that on there last year, and they came back this year and we're happy with it, and so everything, all that issue has been resolved. As far as the distribution system is concerned, we replaced a leaking air relief valve on River Road. It's somewhere halfway between Rhinecliff Road and Ryan Road. We replaced and repaired a 8-foot length pipe on Rhinecliff Road that had busted, and probably had busted some time ago, but apparently a little bit more water came out in the last few months, and so we fixed that. And at the same time, we put in a new shut-off valve halfway between Long Duck Road and the town garage. So if we have another break somewhere, we can isolate the shut-off a little bit closer to home. We replaced 17 new Neptune e-coder meters this month, for a total of 69 this year. And we have now done 953 radio read meters. We still got about 700 to go. I also wanted to just get a quick read on you. I got maps that we got from Stantec last week, and I think you got one set of it. I got 3 more. I would like to get 2 of these sets laminated. So we can hang one of them in the water plant where we would use it, and probably you would want here in the town hall, in the village hall. It probably costs somewhere between $150 and $200. So I'm going to, if you have no problem with that, I'm going to go sometime this week. Go to Office Depot and have them laminated. Okay. So that is all I have today.
Thank you, Heinz. Wastewater, Gary?
In May, there were 3.5 million gallons of wastewater treated. There were 35,081 gallons of sludge processed, and there were 5,095 pounds of sludge processed. And otherwise, everything moving along. We had a major power outage down there, which was caused some interesting problems for 24 hours, but everything's back on track now.
But you have a generator there, right?
Yeah, it was on backup power, but everything had to be manually restarted, so, just another thing.
The generator doesn't power 100% of the plant.
Oh, okay.
It's
just
the final filters are not powered. So if it's out, if it's out long enough that it exceeds the holding capacity, then they would have to apply to, for emergency bypass to the DEC.
why
And,
can't we do something?
Well,
yeah,
we are, working with the,
Generator
yeah,
size.
we have
Yeah.
to look into it. Yeah. So I think it says in here maybe like 80% of the plant, but those are the big pieces that are not. So there's actually the transformers just outside of the plant were struck by lightning. They were actually on fire, so they had to have hazmat cleanup there because of the oil that spilled out onto the bushes and stuff.
They explode, actually, right?
Yeah. So they were, like you said, about 24 hours. By that morning, Central Hudson had the pole rebuilt and everything back up and going.
that's all.
We should maybe have an engineer size
Yeah.
generator to run the whole plant. At least we could look at and see what it might cost to replace that generator.
Now, there's also, in a lot of different places, you have pumps, right?
Lift stations.
Lift
Yeah.
station pumps. They were not affected.
No,
They're kind of remote.
but all of our lift stations they run on a portable generator. So they have a holding capacity, and then they have a trailer-mounted portable that they take out during periods of long power outage. So they're not independently backed up.
So they got enough money to do it.
Yeah. Okay. While we're talking about generators, Heinz, was there ever anything on that up at the reservoir? Did we ever look at I know we were looking at a backup generator for the pumps.
We have a generator. As a matter of fact, we're renting it out.
No, at the reservoir?
At the reservoir.
The one that
I'm
would
sorry.
handle the,
Tom got, I think, one quote. I have to check with
Okay.
him on the other one.
okay.
We could tie this all together. Maybe the generator that's
That Tom needs, yeah.
the one that's down at the sewer treatment plant is large enough to.
I think the one up there is like
Bigger.
They need a
it's more like a home, it only runs
yeah.
like a pump that serves like 5 houses. This thing would be slight overkill maybe, but who knows?
Okay.
That brings us to fire.
The monthly call volume for the month of May, fire department responded to 24 EMS calls in the town, 25 in the village, and provided mutual aid for 1 EMS call for a total of 50 EMS calls. They responded to 6 fire calls in the town, 9 in the village, and provided mutual aid 3 times for a total of 18 total fire calls. And motor vehicle accidents, there was 1 in the town, 1 in the village, and they provided mutual aid 3 times for a total of 5 motor vehicle accident calls. Just the yearly total of calls that they've responded to was 494. We're not even halfway through the year. It's quite a few. I think that's it.
Good. No more new members?
I know there's one pending,
Is that you?
not me.
We have an application.
Somebody, yeah, I just gave it to Kevin Asher. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a couple members here tonight with us. Fire Department, thank you guys.
Planning and zoning? Anything in particular you guys want to touch on?
Nothing more that, Gary, unless you have something, we're continuing on with our zoning commission. Which
Yep.
is, we have another meeting tomorrow night. It's taking longer than we anticipated. I think we've gone a pretty long time without looking at the zoning code, and I think we had a pretty short window of time. We wanted to get it done prior to March, and we're not there. We're close. We're probably 3 more meetings away from having a presentation to the board, or at least a draft.
It's a very thorough review.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that's happened, I think. There's a lot of things that have changed since the last...
And you have, the people on the zoning commission have a lot of experience. So yeah, when we talk about defining things, redefining things, the expertise is pretty impressive. I think it'll be obvious in the final product.
Yeah, it's the guys who actually apply the code that are helping revise it, so pretty thorough.
So for the police report, I'm going to put this as a
You skipped
Right.
you skipped
I
the
did?
street department.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm ready.
You ready for
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay, Howie. you go
Here's the
ahead.
report submitted by John Fenton, our new Superintendent of Public Works. He notes that the jobs completed they made the pothole and pavement repairs on the parade route, and the parade and Memorial Day preparation was complete. All mowing was completed in the parks. They painted the crosswalks on Knollwood Road going over to the elementary school, and they started painting the stop lines in the village. Brush pickup on the north side was completed. New crosswalk signs were installed on Knollwood Road. Mulch deliveries were completed, and a catch basin was repaired on Manor Road. Now, some of the requests from the Highway Department are to install a crosswalk located at Parsonage Street and Route 308.
I talked to John about that
It's right up
today.
there,
It
yeah.
has to go to the DOT since it's a state
yeah.
road.
Yeah. John's also recommending that we condense the brush pickup schedule, which we'll talk about that. Ways to do that.
When do you want to talk about that?
Thursday?
Oh,
Are you available Thursday?
no, but okay.
Well, you know what?
I thought you wanted to take comments now.
Oh, okay. If anybody has any
Well,
comments.
shouldn't John have some suggestions on how to
Yeah,
do
he
it?
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What are they?
Okay, one suggestion is to pick up brush twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And then somehow set up a schedule so we can have brush brought to the village staging area behind the highway department, maybe on one day a week, like a Friday afternoon. And the idea here is we want to get the highway department working on the streets more. A lot of times they're picking up brush and delivering mulch, and we want to kind of get away from that. We don't want the streets to be filled with brush all year round. So there's just a lot of ways we can think about getting this done. Do you have any ideas?
No, I like the idea of opening the village garage, because they used to be able to do that, drop off
Yeah.
your brush.
Yeah.
And I know, within the last 5 years that was stopped. So that would certainly alleviate some of it. Limited pickups or scheduled pickups would probably be better, rather than just randomly. I don't know if twice a year is going to be enough, just because the
Well,
way seasons change.
The problem is the brush is left out on the street all the time. And no matter when you're going to pick it up, it's there. It's there right now.
Maybe it's once a month or something, but I think twice is limited, but certainly something to discuss.
Now, that's the, where is the regulation about the trash cans? Is that in the code about, is that in the zoning code where you can only put it out the night before?
I am not aware.
That's in the village code, I think.
It's in the village code, not
Not the zoning
Not
code.
the zoning code.
As far,
Oh, it's
I
definitely in
believe.
the zoning code.
What's that?
It's not in the zoning code.
In the village code, there is something about
Right.
trash cans. They can go out the night before, so maybe there'd be a, if the pickup was gonna be on, July 3rd, maybe they have a 48-hour window before a week. But if you put brush out before that, or if you put it out on July 6th and it's another month, maybe there has to be a regulation written so that there's a window.
But I think the board would like some input. I know, a lot of residents have become accustomed to be able to put out the yard waste at any time, and it's been a very nice service, but it can't be maintained the way it's being done. So we'd love to get some input. Jeffrey, I'm sure, has some ideas on the matter.
Personally, I would say I think that the 1 month interval would be acceptable. I mean, being in the business of lawns and leaves and that kind of stuff, I know, you see it. You see the guys going around town, and then the next day people are piling stuff out. I agree that I think a 1 month, I think twice a year might be a little bit, you might be pushing it a little bit, but, because, I guess unless you did early or late spring and late fall kind of thing, but, it's a nice service, like you said, that people have been accustomed to, and I think that a monthly basis would be a good idea, in my opinion.
So how are you going to prevent the people from putting the brush out? If we do it once a month, the first week, how are we going to prevent them from putting the brush out the second week, the third
Like
week?
Heath said.
What?
Yeah,
It'd be defined in the code, just like people,
40-hour
you would get a violation if it was out when it's not supposed to be, and then it would.
yeah, I think personally, I think a 48-hour window is acceptable. But my 2 cents.
All right, thank you.
And the other idea we're thinking of is only delivering mulch on, say, a Friday afternoon. Not just, a lot of times when the guys are working on a road, somebody wants mulch, they stop everything and they go deliver mulch. And the job that they were doing doesn't get done. It's not an efficient way of doing it, so we're looking at all different ways to do this.
And Friday afternoon is a good time.
Yeah, Friday afternoon.
Well, that was my suggestion. You deliver the mulch on Fridays.
People can
People
use it.
work in the yard over the weekend, and then on Mondays you'd pick up the yard debris. So. Is that it, Howard?
Other requests are, he's saying the highway staging area is full. I believe that's where all the brush is, so we have to grind that into mulch. Pedestrian signs located in the road should be replaced or relocated. I'm not sure what that means. Purchase a drag box for road repair.
What's a drag box?
I think on the signs, I think, John, there are a number of places where when the trees are full, signs are not as visible. I think he's talking about just moving a few signs so that they're more useful around.
I think that these are the ones that are in the road, because I noticed the one up by the
Right.
bagel store was hit again.
Right.
Oh,
These are the
That-
ones that are, I think, in the middle, in the crosswalks.
okay.
I'll talk to John about this.
The drag box is a piece of equipment used for paving that is mounted on the back of a dump truck, and it kind of takes the place of a paver for smaller jobs. So right now, we have one coming next week from the state on loan from the DOT, and we've already had a truck outfitted to mount it on. So before we look at a purchase of one, I think, which is about $17,000, I believe. So we should look at, well, let them use the one from the state, and if we can effectively lay down pavement with that piece of equipment and our crew, then maybe it's something to consider for, a purchase in future projects. So when we have the opportunity to borrow one for, I believe, a period of 3 weeks starting next week, so we have a nice trial period.
Did they use a drag box to do the repairs on Astor Drive?
They did not.
Well, this is just another way of obviously trying to save money on road repairs or road replacements. if we can get the highway department to do this work themselves, instead of hiring this out, but we have to have the highway department around, instead of having them pick up brush all the time and delivering mulch. These are ways we can really save a lot of money, doing things like this. And they're confident they can get the job done. They have a roller. Scott, they have a roller they can sit on and roll. Because you asked me if they had an actual roller they can use.
They have a roller, I believe it's 2-ton? Something like that, but the town has a 5-ton, I believe it's a 5-ton with the vibration, gives it an effective 9 or 10 ton of compaction, something like that, so that's available to us. If we were to schedule, we could, rent it from them with an operator, a 1 day at a time if it's scheduled. Because there's a state-defined DOT rate, so it comes with, now the operator depends on the person's hourly wage, but I think we already know what that would be. And then there is a rate for that piece of equipment, and they're gonna be borrowing our Bobcat with the milling attachment for their road repairs, and there's a schedule they can go to and say Bobcat this is the daily rate for a Bobcat with this attachment. So, it's available.
Yeah, and one other note John has on here is that mulch deliveries will only be made within the village and the town of Rhinebeck.
Has this been a problem?
Yes.
Where to? Milan? Hyde
I
Park?
believe it was the town of Clinton.
On the other side of the parkway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Clinton, I think.
That should
Yeah.
not happen, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. They can't drive on the parkway. They have to go on the side roads to get, it was,
Yeah. So there's a fee for delivery in the town.
Yeah.
And there's free delivery within the village,
right.
so. But we can look at those schedules as well, the fee schedule for that.
I guess, should I mention John's zoning department? There were,
There's not too much there, right?
no. Just as part of John Fenton's new role, he's also, we're getting better information about public works in general and on zoning enforcement as well.
Okay. Am I okay to go to police now, Howie?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So we had some policy changes last time. They're not in here. I believe we looked at them and we approved them, or we're going to approve them pending okay from the union, the police union, which we now have. Do you have what they are there, Pat, what the changes are? So I'd like to make a motion to approve the changes to the police policy manual as submitted, which would be the Driver's Privacy Protection Act, the DMV photo system, the Internet Security and Privacy Act, and they were summarized on the first page. So, make a motion to approve those three policies as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
So the police report for the month, there were 33 incidents in the town, 119 in the village. There were 22 tickets issued in the town, 47 in the village, a total of 4 arrests and 6 accidents. He notes that there were 7 dog complaints. I don't know if they were referred out to the town, but that is the procedure, to refer them to the town animal control officer or the town hall if he's not available. There's some notes here on the speed trailer. They had it set up on May 2nd for the car show. They clocked 1,326 cars, with 1,200 of those above the speed limit of 30 miles per hour. Average speed was 39. They set up on East Market Street also for the car show on May 3rd. It clocked 631 cars, 592 of those over the limit. And then 5/16, they set it up for the Feet Marathon on Mill Street. There were 736 cars, and 659 of them were over the speed limit.
90%?
Average of 38 miles per hour.
Are we missing out on some revenue here?
Maybe we should set up a speed trap right after the speed trap. So that's all I have for the police department. Next, we're on to the committees. We have the tree committee. Howie?
Okay, we're working on a draft for a new application for the tree permit, which is to remove or prune street trees. I gave Rich the copy of what the tree commission came up with, and they'll get back to me on that. We have one tree that we want to have taken down, dead tree that on Beach Street, that the guide wire was finally taken off of, so now we can take this tree down. We're going to have the highway department take this down. And there was one application, but we have to take a look at that one. It came in late last Tuesday, right before our meeting on Sunset Road. The trees were just planted today, in front of the M&T Bank, 3 trees. I don't know if you noticed them. We were waiting for Augustine to get them done. They did that today. The fall planting, we don't have the date yet, but I believe it's around the first week in November is when we do the fall planting. And tree commission was, okay. Tree commission would like the village to look into the possibility of buying a splicer truck, which has a bucket capable of taking down a 40-foot tree. That's a truck that would have a bucket in it, so one of the highway guys can go up and hopefully take the tree down. Walter Cotter, who's on the tree commission now, works for Verizon, and sometimes he doesn't work for Verizon. He works
Frontier.
For Frontier. Here it says Verizon. Walter works for Frontier, and he notices that there's some older equipment that sometimes they auction off. He's going to look into that for us. That's it for the tree commission. Any questions?
Once we take down trees, do we typically follow up with stump grinding?
Yes, we do. I know we have a few stumps out there. They did a few of them this spring. I've made a note to John Fenton of where the other ones are that they have
One
to get
Livingston, right? There's 2 or 3 around the corner of Livingston.
to. There's one, apparently that one on Livingston in front of that big house in the corner, somebody said there's cement in the middle of that.
Okay.
Maybe we should look, that's why they haven't done that. But we'll look into that one. There's one on Oak Street, there's one by, right across from Gigi's right there on the side.
Okay.
So that'll be on the list.
Okay. The Parks Committee, we have a draft of a conceptual drawing for the project at Legion Park at Crystal Lake. I don't have it here, but I shared it with you guys on Thursday. Just as a reminder, we're planning a community picnic for July 10th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's a Friday night. The rain date will be July 17th. So this is I think it's a bring your own picnic basket. There will be a food truck there for food, and the ice cream truck that is an approved vendor in the village should also be there for this event. So it's just a community event looking to bring awareness to the lake and generate some discussion about the plans for revising and revitalizing the park. Yes, Gary?
Just a note about, we also have a committee that is not an official committee of the village, but a committee looking into power lines. We've entered the power outage season. I've already had a few at my house. And so a committee of local citizens is meeting regularly to look into what it would take to get more of our power lines underground. So if anyone's interested in joining that committee, you could leave information in my mailbox here at Village Hall or talk to the clerk.
Thank you. We have a request here from George Wyant for a buyout of 100 hours of accumulated vacation time. Submitted on yesterday, June 8th. So he has 1,038 hours of accumulated vacation time. I will make the motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Discussion. All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any correspondence for us, Pat? I know there was the one. I just wanted to note that it's not in here, right?
Page 2.
Okay. I want to note there's one from Kyle Irwin from the Feet. You want to pass them both down? From the Feet Marathon that was held on May 16th. They made a donation of $100 to the Park Committee for Park Improvements, and they just, thanked the village for hosting the event here, and all the support people that made it a success here. So, we thank the Feet for the $100 donation. I also have a letter from Wayne Reifenberg from the American Legion thanking the village, particularly the police department and the street department for their support during the Memorial Day parade. Next, we got the water and sewer adjustments.
I move that we accept the water and sewer adjustments as shown on the page. It's in our book.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have the minutes?
I emailed them to everyone.
They're all emailed? Okay. Before we make a motion, does anyone have any questions or comments on the minutes that were submitted? No? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted by the clerk via email for the meetings on April 14th, May 12th, and May 20th of 2015.
Second.
Discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody else got any other business? No. I would like to make a motion to enter executive session to discuss union negotiations, contract negotiations.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.